We're headed now to Tipperary. It's a long way away. It's a long road. We're about to kick off the long road to Tipperary. Such a big one. Hi, I'm Claire and I recently drove around Ireland in a bunk camper's camper van. Where are my keys? After deciding to go wherever the ferries took me, thumbnail, I ended up at Dunamore Famine Workhouse with the amazing Michael and his dog Lily, and Michael gave me my very next stop on my adventure.
I have to tell Claire now about where she can find all the different music sessions.
Definitely. Michael told me about a secret pub in Tipperary called Jim of the Mill. Jim of the Mill is a pub that's in a family's house that only opens on Thursdays, and you only hear about it by word of mouth. I drove for a long time. Stop it. I did actually arrive quite late. It was already dark by the time I got there, because that's what happens on winter camper van trips. Alrighty then. I actually had 2 visitors while I was parked. The first to tell me to move on. Oh God. Hello? Oh, sorry.
The lorry's coming in, you say.
Right, gotta move. And the second to tell me to hurry up and get over to Jim of the Mill before all the seats were gone. Someone just called to the van. He was like, "You going up to Jim of the Mills?" And I was like, "I am, yeah." And he goes, "Well, you don't have to get there." He's like, "It fills up. You need to be there at 8. He goes, "You don't come up here now for the night." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, what I mean is, you go home when it's over." I think that means this is going to be an absolute session. A session, cool. Jim of the Mill is very like a shebeen, and it's very unique in the way that it operates and the way that it's laid out. Firstly, people come from all over the country to this family's home in Tipperary. And secondly, they have a room that's set up specifically for music. And so people bring all kinds of instruments, all kinds of songs, and sit facing a fire and sing and play the night away.
This house was built as a mill in the late 1700s and into the early 1800s. I'll be down to see you in a minute.
Will you?
Yeah.
Is that a treasure or promise now?
Oh, a thresh. Mostly oats is grown around here and it was brought down to the mill to be threshed. And that's used for porridge and for making cakes, all that sort of stuff. And in about 1830, the road outside, it was known as the Anglesey line on account of Lord Anglesey. The story was that he was down with a party of friends one night, and you know they owned the land and they controlled the land, and that they got lost, and that the priest in Kilcommon gave them sustenance for the night. He asked them in return, he says, "Would you like anything?" The priest said to him, "We'd like a good road to Tipperary, Thurles or Nina." So there was a whole lot of licences granted around the time.
Pub licenses?
Pub licences.
Gotcha, yeah.
And so around 1829-30, after the road had been built here, they granted licences along the road, and this was one of them.
When I was young and restless, my mind was ill at ease, dreaming of America, all the gold beyond the sea. Oh, sorrow, take their money, it's hard to get the same. And what's the world to any man when no one speaks his name?
That's the background of the mill. A small mill, 3 foot wide. We have the documents of the size of the mill. You know, we have all about that. The water. Hello, Paul. And around 1900, the mill was closed down. What happened was, how are you? My great grandfather had died. Jim of the Mill was Jim of the Mill.
He was the original Jim of the Mill.
He was the original Jim of the Mill. There was no manpower, and my great grandmother was here, and her daughters. There were no more men here, and the mill closed down. They had a great grocery trade here in the shop, selling tea and sugar and everything that was needed long ago. They had teachers, all the tea came loose. There was sweets in a gallon, soaps, lamp oil, not what's in the modern shops at all.
When all is said and done, you are the only one. For the open road is waiting like the sun. We will welcome what tomorrow has to bring. If there are stormy weather, take my hand, and we'll walk this road together. I won't mind if it turns out that we never find the end. All I ask is that you want me for a friend.
Jim came up from our house in Seskin as a child, and he had aunts here, and they were so mad about him that they held on to him, and he never went back. His mother never had him.
That's amazing.
Then that happened in houses. My uncle was here, and the pub was closed for years, from the late 60s. He fell into the fire one night, and he burned his leg. He was a very stoic man, and it took great work to convince him to go to hospital. But he was a very healthy man. He recovered, even though you could almost see the bone in his leg. He never married, and that's the reason I got this place.
Yeah.
He left it to me
Oh, very good.
in 1981 when he died. I never even thought about coming ever back up here again. I thought this was the wild side of the country, and I never even thought of coming up here. Would you believe that, Kevin? I was reared in Thurles in the flatlands, and this was the hills. So I just came back up here quite by accident and reopened this pub.
I am going, any which way the wind may be blowing. I am going, with streams of whiskey are flowing. The words that he spoke to the ways to start philosophies, there's nothing to be gained by a wet they call a tear. And when the world's too dark, underneath the light inside of me, I'll walk into a bar and drink 15 pints of beer because I'm going. I am going, any which way the wind may be blowing. I am going, the streams of whiskey are flowing.
I used to open on a Friday and Saturday night, and I had a bit of trouble with the law. For some reason or other, they used to come here a lot. I thought that maybe going back to Thursday night would be lesser trouble than the weekend. I used to bring up the drink in the boot of the car. At that time, a few old crates, large bottles of Guinness or Smithwick's would do you, and an old half bottle of whiskey and a few old minerals. So that's what the way it was, and maybe a half bottle of vodka. Very small trade. People started to come over the years, you know. We always had a song. That night people would come and have a night out, and they'd bring their musical instruments, and people might sing an old song if the humour took them.
Arrested by free staters and sentenced for to die. They're bound to Tipperary, to the county mountain high.
But in old Jim's time, people used to come here from everywhere. Mick Mackey left his last hurler here. Mick Mackey was the great Limerick hurler. In the 19-teens, when Limerick became a hurling power, this was their first stop home on the way to Limerick. My daughters were all born, my children were born here when I married them. Well, John.
How are you, Jim?
Good we are. This is where all the girls, my 5 girls, this is where they listen to all the songs They were falling asleep to the songs when they were little children. And they grew up then with all this affinity to that atmosphere.
They were singing in there.
They were singing in there.
Yeah. She said, my dear, don't leave me for another season. If fortunes would seem pleasing, I'd go along with you. I'd forsake friends and relations. I'd quit this Irish nation, and to the bonny banks forever I bid adieu.
They grew up with the older people that were coming here, and they loved all those people.
Yeah.
Some of them are out there tonight, they're back for the first time in 3 years.
Say the right things now.
I have told them already.
If you're in your bed lying and thinking upon dying, one thought of the bonny banks, your sorrow you'd give o'er. Or if you are for 1 hour down in yon shady bower, pleasure would surround you, you'd think on death no more.
And I'm only saying that my girls became musical. I won't say I taught them. I encouraged them to like the old songs. My mother was a great musician. All her family were musical. Her mother's side, full of music. She married in my father outside Thurles. It's as if they were different personalities. My father was just an old countryman, a wonderful man, a hard worker, old farming man, a lovely man. My mother was the most cultured, beautiful woman, the most serene, gorgeous woman. I could never replicate her, ever in my life.
Deepest night, when memories tend to gather, lay with me and put your tears to sleep. 'Cause there's no pain, no word can pull asunder all the love that binds you and me. All together, darling, I will see the clouds around you, and till you I know the sorrow knows. But if you leave, I'll be right there to hold you till each day becomes a rose.
I'm glad to meet you.
I'm glad to meet you too, Jim.
Anyway, you're a lovely girl, and I just met you there by chance. And I hope this whole thing will be of some benefit to you.
Thank you
And
very
I
much.
tell you one thing, when I met you tonight, you have the friendship in your face.
Very much.
And I wish you the best.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for chatting to me as well.
This girl is from County Mayo, and she just happened to drift in.
That was fucking class. Jim was like, it's such a pity that you'd booked caravan park. She could have stayed with giving you breakfast in the morning and everything.
Oh God, you could have pulled in here and come in for the breakfast tomorrow morning.
Sorry, no. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have to come back. I had a great conversation with Jim after the cameras were off. Lovely, lovely man. And the whole family was lovely. It wasn't just people from the local area either. Like, I kind of thought, oh shit, I'm going to be coming in on their turf. Like, no, it was people from all over. Friends of friends, or like people who just heard about it like me and showed up. It was class. It was absolutely packed. They're still going. I just have to get them home. But they actually are still going. It's midnight. They're still singing away in there. People in the pub kept being like, "Oh, the camper van! You're the camper van!" I was like, "Yeah, I'm the camper van." What a night! That was amazing. And shout out to the family that took me under their wing when I first went in there. Seb from Sweden and his father-in-law. And shout out to Aaron as well, who came up to me in the pub and said, "I think I recognise you." And I was like, that is fucking insane. Like, that's wild. That's wild. And he was like, "Yeah, you did a video years ago about like the Irish language." And I was like, that sounds like me. They actually had all the non-alcoholic beers in there, which is crazy. I did not expect that. So I had a non-alcoholic Guinness and 2 non-alcoholic ciders. Honestly, I just feel so bloated at this point. But we need to get to Streamstown, so let's mosey. Jim told me I had friendship on my face. He saw it from the minute I walked in. Jim, you old flatterer. Wait till you see all the cars up here now. They're all lining the road, up the road. Isn't that so funny? In there is where it is. I have to say the Gym of the Mill session really felt like connecting with a part of myself that I don't connect with very often. It is almost an indescribable experience. I can tell you about it and I can show you the video from it, but I really can't communicate what it felt like to be there. Especially as an Irish person, hearing people from all around the world sing Irish songs and play Irish tunes, and it was just amazing. You have to go. You have to go. So thank you so much for watching. This is the point of the video where I normally ask you to become a patron, but instead this time I'm actually going to ask that if you enjoyed this video and this look into something really quintessentially Irish that you probably haven't seen before, please share the video. YouTube's algorithm doesn't really tend to reward these kind of videos, and the last video that I made about the Dunamore Famine Workhouse and this video have been 2 of my favourite videos I've ever made, and so if you enjoyed them, I would really, really appreciate if you might share them with someone else. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Slán slán.